Daniel sucks dick. Hey everybody, and I'm going to tell you about The Great Gatsby. It's a movie I saw, and it's a movie I've seen, and it's a book that I have kind of read some of. So I'm going to just jump head on into right first of it. So the movie is The Great Gatsby. And if any of you know The Great Gatsby, which you ought to, because it's been a book for a while, and it's also been a movie for a while, and I think it had Adrian Brody. Adrian Brody's really cool. But anyway, it's about a guy, and his name is Gatsby. He is played in this movie by Leonardo DiCaprio. And his whole thing is that he's a very rich guy, and he's in love with this girl named Daisy, who is played by some blonde-headed lady, and her husband is Mr. Scarborough, who wears golf clothes and multicolored shirts and things. And he's a good guy. No, he's not. I'll get into that later. But, oh, and then there's Nick Callahan, who is played by Tobey Maguire. And everybody knows that Tobey Maguire is the single-handed best actor in the world. So in The Great Gatsby, this is a version that is directed by the guy who did Moulin Rouge, which is Moulin Rouge. And it's it's in the typical style of that guy's film, very stylized, almost cartoony in a way that he decides to portray some of the things. And it's fine, it works for the movie in a way that I wasn't expecting it to work. It was very good. It was very nicely done. And there were a lot of choices that he made while directing this film that I thought were fantastic. Great, wonderful, beautiful choices. The colors were always great. All the colors were very bright and vibrant, and you could tell that there was meaning behind most of them. I can't go into any details because I wasn't paying attention to the colors. But I know that there were a lot of them, and they were everywhere. And you could see them using their eyeballs. Also, there was music in this film. Now, I've talked to some people and they don't really like the fact that there was a lot of rap music and R&B styled whatchacalls and things in it. But I actually love that because in the Great Gatsby is this whole idea of the American dream, or the supposed American dream, and how empty the people are who are in the American dream, or the people at least in the movie. They're all these rich people who should be perfectly happy, but they're not. And they always just want a little more, and they forgot how to just be people. So, rap music is perfect for this. All it is, it's just empty expression of wealth and fame and fortune without any emotion tied into it. And that's why I thought that it's perfect. Rap music and R&B, it is perfect for this style of movie with this message. Also, Jay-Z has a song that's in the movie, and Jack White's in there too. Even the songs that weren't rap, like those slower ones that were kind of romantic, the music was this very dull, monotonous kind of a thing, where even though the words were there and they were meaning something, the feeling wasn't quite where it should be. And I thought that was beautiful, and it put a tear all over my asshole. No, not really. My only problem with the movie is Tobey Maguire is awful. Tobey Maguire is a terrible actor, and I hate him in everything he's in. Also, Nick Callahan, Carraway, Carry On Luggage, his whole character in the book is he is a standby guy. He is in this area, and there are things just happening around him, and he just sits there, and he goes, I am Nick Carraway! And that's it. And that's how I like him. But, you know, obviously, this guy is the Moulin Rouge movie director guy. He's like, everything is very cartoony and over-exaggerated. So Nick Carraway's character had a character. Tobey Maguire had a character, and he wasn't just the standby guy. He was a thing. And I actually did not like that at all. I think that Nick Carraway should have been played straighter than he was. He should not have been as vibrant. Or at least not played by Tobey Maguire. Maybe I just hate the way he did it, but I felt like Nick Carraway shouldn't have been as much as he was. Oh, also, the symbolism in the movie is another thing that it's not the way I would have done it, which I can't because I'm not a director and I have no money. But it is a thing. It's not subtle. Because in The Great Gatsby, Gatsby wears this ring, And every single time he does anything with it, camera zooms in on the hand. Bah! I'm gonna fidget with my ring. Oh, here goes Gatsby fidgeting with his ring. Cool. Bah! Fidget with the ring. Oh man, we're gonna go somewhere and there's like a thing just fucking anywhere that you don't maybe notice. No, the camera just bah! Just zooms in on it. And I didn't like. I think people read books to find meaning in things and they don't have to just be fucking shown it directly like that. Like the most dominant one that I'm thinking of is well, there was the one where Tobey Maguire was walking around in the party when he first meets Gatsby, and Gatsby's like, "Oh, I'm just a waiter," but then the camera is just so close on his fucking hand that you see the ring, and he's just like, "It's not really just a waiter, that's Gatsby." Stop. And so you're just like, "Hey, cool, it's Gatsby, great, awesome, wonderful." Oh, the scene where they are arguing in the penthouse, whatever, and Gatsby and Daisy and Scarborough and Calloway and are all in the room, and then Gatsby is just like, "You need to tell that guy you're not in love with him anymore," and she goes, and then, you know, and then they leave and they slam the door, and then instead of just having the shot set up where it's the door, it slams and the picture falls off of the wall. The door slams, camera, picture, falling off the wall. You don't need to jump to it. Just fucking have had it in the shot. You don't do that. You don't do those things. Also, I never want to see the movie again because I hate all the characters. Like, the thing is, if you've never seen Gatsby or read the book, you don't know how horrible everybody is. And that's cool. But I've seen the old movie, and I've read most of the book, and they're all terrible people. Scarborough is a very rich man who, for some reason, wants to keep his wife because he's threatened by the fact that anybody can take something away from him, even though you can tell he doesn't actually care. And he doesn't. He's a horrible, evil man and a very manipulative person. Daisy is a rich, snobby brat, is the best way to say it, just a spoiled little cunt who just is in the midst of this love triangle because it's a thing. There's no actual emotion there, but she's so obsessed with this fantasy of, you know, this whole thing that she gets caught up in it and lets it get way out of hand and apologizes for none of it and just lets it keep going. And is just, that's what she does. That's her entertainment. Gatsby is a delusional psychopath. I'll get into him later. But Nick Carraway is like, as I said, he's a standby. He's a bystander, not a standby. What the fuck kind of plane? He sits, he watches everything, and not once, well maybe once, but barely, he doesn't make an effort to change or stop any of the things going on around him. He's also just in it for the experience, more or less, even though he feels himself more important because he cares about Gatsby and he loves Gatsby. He doesn't really care about anybody at all. He's just there and experiencing everything and living within the realm of the rich, which he didn't get to do before. And just everybody's terrible. But no, Gatsby is a very delusional man. Everybody, like, people don't want to be like Gatsby or evil. He is evil. Gatsby's very evil. He's a bad guy. He's a delusional man. He tries to convince this woman that she's not in love with her husband. He already has everything, but for some reason he doesn't feel complete unless he has this one other thing that really shouldn't have no bearing. He's crazy. He's a nut.
Crazy in the coconut.
What does that mean?
That boy needs therapy.